Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again.
Am I wrong? Okay. This podcast is a part of Christian Reek Central Network. Wrong.
Hey, Scoop, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm supposed to be reading an ad.
All right, hold on. Give me it.
Okay.
All right, this podcast is part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast,
The animated series.
Joining me today is a man who's convinced that a cat with robot arms is impossible, Jacob.
Wow. It's like, hey, when you gotta do the monkey thing, you gotta do the monkey thing. Why, thank you. Okay. Why, thank you. I'd like to introduce our co-host. A man... Dude, why did you have to break the thunder tank?
Because we had to make another one for the toy next season.
Yeah, sure.
Well, at least in the next episode.
Yeah.
Because we do get it. There is an upgrade coming.
Kind of.
Yeah. So, how are you doing, Jacob?
Man, I'm doing good. Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
So today we are reviewing Thundercats 2011 Season 1 Episode 24, The Soul Sever. Tell us about this one.
While they were looking for spare parts for the Thundercat and Jarman's technology junkyard, the Soul Sever sends his robot army, the Necro Mechs, to steal the Book of Omens. He needs the power of his experiments to take the souls of living creatures and implant them into cyborg bodies. The next step is to test the transfer using the cats as guinea pigs.
All right, so the trivia for this episode. Flicker is most likely an homage to the 80s movie Batteries Not Included. You've never seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
It's a bunch of robots that come to life.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Soul Sever is voiced by actor Jeffrey Combs, who is best known for his work in the Reanimator films, where he also plays a scientist obsessed with returning to life. Plus, if you know your Star Trek, you know he played many different roles there. In Deep Space Nine, he was Wayoon and Brunt, and in Enterprise, he was Commander Shran. Also, in this episode, even though Chitara, Palmyra, and Snarf and the Wily twins appear in the beginning, most don't have any lines of dialogue and are not seen for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
So
it's like a Bros episode.
Pretty much. Yeah, this episode I thought was very interesting. It's a sad tale, to be honest, because I mean he doesn't want to give up his family. The Soul Sever doesn't, and he's trying to do everything he can to keep their souls from crossing over, when in reality he just needs to move on.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all had a death that we've dealt with before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you know that, yeah, it'd be nice to have eternal life, but you know who else is fighting for eternal life in this episode, in the show? Mum-Ra, the evil and ever living.
Yeah.
Claiming to not die, but he's obviously dead already.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
He's a reanimated corpse.
Well, in many ways, you could claim the same is true of the Soul Sever.
Yeah. And man, his backstory is tragic.
Very tragic. He was just a normal man who... His family... Were they murdered? Or they were dying? That's what
they were dying.
They were dying. and he made a deal with the necromechers to save their lives, and they were able to keep them alive, but in return they turned him into a war mech, essentially.
Yeah. Then he slaughtered them all.
Yes, because they didn't agree with him that, oh, if y'all can do this, we ought to do this for everybody, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, this was a fun episode. I thought
It was
a sad episode, but it was a nice adventure.
Yeah, it was. Agreed. And what else do you say about this episode?
I did like Jeffrey Combs' performance as Soul Sever.
Yeah, I did. Even though I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know who he is.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting there going, this entire time I was going, I know his voice. I know this voice. Who is this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that guy. Okay, cool. And it was obviously, outside of all the villains I think we've had so far besides Mum-Ra, this is the one I think they've done the most work with making the character, be... I say have a deeper backstory. There's a lot of them that have had deeper backstories, but most of them you kind of feel like they were only designed for this one episode and we never see him again. This one feels maybe not like they would use him again.
Yeah.
But like they thought, they decided they to put a lot more into his story. He's got almost as much lore as Mum-Ra's has been revealed. So
Yeah, that is true.
and he's only in this one episode, so yeah, I mean, it was interesting.
It was. Then we get Tiger Mech. The Tiger is the only one of the three who gets his soul sucked out of him, and for some odd reason, the mechanized parts, which are only on top of his machine, he turns into a Tiger Mech.
Well, it makes sense.
It makes sense, and the fact that the Soul Sever starts realizing, like, because it starts becoming more and more out of control, he starts absorbing more energy and more parts to himself, and eventually sucks the souls from his departed loved ones.
Yeah.
And the Soul Sever is desperately trying to figure it out. All he's got to do is do a little some more calculations to figure it out. And Lion-O gives him the very good advice, like, here's a good idea, just let them go.
Yeah.
Be like, they are already dead.
Let them rest.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. You're tormenting their souls because you want them clear to you. You
want them to return.
Yeah, be like you. He longs for his family to return to him, but in return, their souls are in anguish because they can't move on.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a gut wrench of a story. It's gut wrenching. It's like, wow, okay, the lengths in which a man will go to basically protect his family or keep his family safe and near him. And it's one of those lessons that you have to let things go sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's a hard truth sometimes. And it's a good story. It's a very good story. Minus we don't get any of the ladies or the kittens.
Well, you can't have them in every episode.
That is true.
Plus, do you imagine how much this would scar for life Wily Kit and Wily Cat?
Oh my gosh. They'd probably want to play with everything too.
They'd probably destroy. Well, if they'd been there, they'd have destroyed it before the story got going.
That is true.
Knowing the Wily Kittens.
True.
Anyway, you got anything else on this one before we stop?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Alrighty. Well, join us next time as we come into the last two-parter of this series, What Lies Above?
Yes.
Parts 1 and 2.
It's a birdie of a time.
I had a joke.
I stumped you.
No, you didn't stump me. What happened was I started playing. I was thinking. I was thinking of a song about flying. I was trying to think of an old 70s or 80s song that's about flying, and all I could come up with was, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning. Come, Jacob, we must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast!
Oh, boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
They can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron and Jacob's Daily Art Corner, my personal art Facebook page. On Twitter at Jacob B. Heron, on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, and on Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. Where can they find you, Drew?
You can find me on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. You can also find my Facebook page at Drew's Photo Bin, where I upload my photography. You can also follow me on Letterboxd at GGeorge759 and Twitter at GGeorge759. Where can they find us, Jacob?
You can also visit our website, thecellcast.podbean.com, where you will find every episode we released and links to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. Our RSS feed, if we aren't in your favorite podcast app directory, please share, review, and subscribe to us there and share us with your friends.
You will also find a link to our Facebook group, the Double Feature Podcast Community, where we talk about both animated and live-action movies. We share this with our other podcasts, which we do with Jacob's brother Jim, at the Movie of the Week podcast, where we talk about live-action movies. You can also email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. Also, please like our page on Facebook. We try to post about upcoming movies. If you comment on that movie's post before we record, we'll read your comments in the episode. And remember, every time we say the Cellcast, that is with a single L.